Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we are going to return to a action figure review video. So I'm actually going to combine a couple of different reviews in today's video since it's going to be a very small review video. So I did get in a couple of sets of figures yesterday, and part of it is the Series 3, or some of the Series 3 action figures from Zombie Sailors, Heroes, and Faces. So the first set of 5 figures, and now in the past we did get a variant, a silver or a gray suited Slick, and it's kind of funny when you actually think about the Slick figure. Now when you actually look at the original design of the figure, it was supposed to be a blue suited Slick. So when they came out with the variant, it was a gray suited Slick. I think it was like one of 1,250 or something like that. So, a more rare figure, obviously. Not something that was really open to just any and everyone. A lot of these figures that are purchased, or, you know, for Zombie Sailors, you got to actually pre-order the item, and then it goes into production for the amount of people that actually order the item. And it sucks because, you know, you're basically sitting around for like 8 months to a year waiting for the figures to come in. So that's annoying. I hate going through pre-orders for a lot of these companies for that particular reason. So with the Asylum Store, Epic Toys, Hasbro Toys, Zombie Sailors, all these different companies, it's so frustrating with that aspect. And it's weird that the gray suited Slick actually isn't even a very coveted action figure, oddly enough. But we did get the 5 figures in, and it includes the blue suited Slick. Now, whenever I do these type of reviews, I always kind of look at them in 2 waves. Your first wave, or your first initial review, is always going to be your mint on card review video, and it's just more of a flash in the pan type of thing. Hey, here's the figure, let's move on to the next thing type of deal. It's not a thorough review. It's not until we get into the wave 2 or the second review that I kind of consider the bona fide review video, because not only are we looking at the actual figure mint on card, but then we're going to look at the loose figure. And now I do believe I did purchase these figures multiple times, or at the very least purchased multiple figures, 2 each, 3 each when I did the original order. I don't remember, but as of Monday, I only received in the first batch, or 1 set of figures, so we're only going to look at the first 5 figures, and we only have them mint on card. I also got another set of 3 figures from the figure collection. I'm going to include them in this video because, again, this video is not going to hover, too long, looking at 5 mint on card figures. So, first one I want to look at is probably one of the guys that I was actually more excited about, and I kind of feel like any of your managers, your announcers, your executives, I always feel like they have some of the better figures. So, President Jack Tunney. Now, you guys know the only Jack Tunney figure I have is the custom LJN figure, and he was part of my manager, or my favorite manager tournament. So, having a legitimate Jack Tunney action figure is pretty spectacular. Jack Tunney, president of the World Wrestling Federation for years. Of course, he was just basically a figurehead. He was just the man that you associated with the presidency, but obviously Vince McMahon as owner, he was the man, he was the shot caller. So here is the Jack Tunney figure, the bio card, and of course, sticking with all of the past and figure and to be released action figures. So the only ones on here that I'm still waiting on, the Gage and the Matt Cardona, the bloody version of Matt Cardona and the Gage figure. That was actually a 2-pack. I could have sworn I ordered those figures probably a year ago, and I still have not received those suckers. And I've actually probably gone in and on multiple occasions and reordered them because you know, it's one of those things where you order them and then you kind of forget that you ordered them and you end up ordering them again and again. Like Mark Merrill from Hasbro Toys, I ordered that guy like 16 times. So I got like a million of those guys on hand. So eventually I'm hoping that I did order these guys multiple times, and if I didn't, I got to go back on the Zombie Sailors and order another batch of these guys, because I need to have these guys as loose display figures. Jack Tunney looks absolutely sharp in his suit. Good looking figure. So far, like I said, man, when you look at guys like Mattel Retros with Paul Bearer and Jimmy Hart, Mean Gene Okerlund, I feel like the managers and your announcers, your executives, the announcer, those guys are to me, they get some of the best figures. So super excited about that. And of course, Slick. I'm hoping when I open up this package or open up the next package that comes in, that that they do Slick right and they actually fix the head. If you guys remember with the one of 1250 gray suited Slick, his head is like a Lego. So the hat was kind of squared off, and so the top of his head was like a square. It was like a bald spot, and it was great. It was like a squared off head, and it just fits on there like a Lego block. And I'm like, no, that's terrible. Because aesthetically, when you're just looking at the figure as is, it's like a Jack Tunney figure, right? Or pretty much any of the other managers. And I'm going to classify referees and all these other guys all under the umbrella of the manager terminology for sake of argument. So, Slick. Obviously, I much prefer the blue suit than the gray suit. Looks really sharp. I talked to my buddy Mark Hackenberg. I've mentioned his eBay a lot. Hack316. And over the last last year and a half or so, whenever I've done reviews on his LJNs that I purchased from him, he's probably one of my top 2, top 3 all-time favorite customizers. And every now and then he'll send me updates. Just, little updates showing me, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what new figure I've just completed. I'm like, that is so amazing. Not trying to sell me anything, just, because he knows I'm interested in that stuff. And I think that's so awesome of him. And he's made these amazing Slick figures to include I think he had a purple one. I think he had a pinkish one, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely had a blue one. And right now he's getting ready to work on one of those prototype LJN Vince McMahon types. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he's able to put that together. So, but yeah, Slick, another sharp one. Trying looking at the head here. I really can't tell underneath the hat, but I'm guessing it's gonna look the same as the other one. But we won't know until we actually open the package. We've looked at this figure a few times, and this has got to be one of probably my top 15 all-time favorite wrestling figures, period. I'm trying to think back. When I did my top 15 figures from Galoob and Hasbro and LJN, Original San Francisco, Remco, all the different toy lines that I was crazy about, and I put together my all-time 15 favorite wrestling figures. No, I don't. No, I take it back. I don't think I had any Zombie Sailors on that list. But if I had to redo it, I'm thinking that One Man Gang should definitely be one of those characters that should definitely be on my top 15. Guys like Cella Toys, Giant Haystacks was on my list. Why? Because guys like Giant Haystacks and Hasbro Toys Mabel and Yokozuna from Hasbro, right? I love those big bulky figures. They're just so much more fun. And I've always said, to me, the girth and the weight of a figure means value to me. And One Man Gang with the cloth denim jacket that they've got on here, it is removable. I wouldn't replace it though. I would never take it off the figure. Body, the arms, fighting pose is great. The look is spectacular. He's an awesome character. Just an incredible look. Awesome bad guy. I mean, there are certain figures, I don't care if you are 10 years old, or if you're 50 years old, or if you're 100 years old. There's certain things that, man, you just want to be a kid again and just kind of goof off. And when I hold or look at a figure like this, I'm like, heck yeah. You definitely just want to go back and just have that enjoyment. So, One Man Gang, we've taken a look at this figure a few times. I do have this figure. I've had him carded. I've had him loose. So this is just yet another edition. So shoot, this might be like my third carded figure that I have, third or fourth carded figure. I don't know. I got a bunch of these laying around now. I kind of feel like One Man Gang is one of those carded figures that is going to appreciate in value as the years go by. So I kind of feel like the black strap Andre from Zombie Sailors. Right now, that figure, if you want to put it on auction on eBay, would probably go for like $30, $40. But I kind of think that's funny as hell, because I feel like that's probably one of the most important figures of the line so far. But yeah, in 20 years, I definitely see that being right up there with like what LJN Andre the Giant Black Card series would go for. $3,000? Probably not. But a couple $100, I could see it being somewhere in the $300 to $500 range. And that's what I'm banking on. That some of these figures are valuable. And that's why I kind of have those duplicates. These guys. Power and Glory. I really didn't know a lot about these guys as a tag team. Obviously, the name means something to me, because you know, you hear things. You go back and you watch old videos and stuff. You hear the name. So the first one we're going to look at is Paul Roma. Don't really know a whole lot about Paul Roma. Obviously, his tag team partner I'm more familiar with. The figure himself looks spectacular. I can already tell, even in package, that he's got those weird long arms. And Zombie Sailors, I don't know if that's kind of like their shtick or something, their shtick, that they create these ET arms for all of their figures. And I'm kind of looking at the time right now, guys, and I'm not going to input the figure collection figures in this video. I thought this was going to be like a 10-minute video with just these. I'm talking a lot more than I had thought, so I'm going to make that a separate video. So, Zombie Sailors has some amazing figures, there's no doubt. Absolutely love the creation of their Hasbro style 4-inch pieces, but their arms are so like crazy odd. Like if you look at like a King Kong Bundy, like the way that the arm kind of sticks out, you kind of feel like one arm is longer than the other. Andre the Giant, his arms, they're super long. I mean, pretty much any figure. Look at your Zombie Sailors figures and pull out any one of your loose figures. Their arms are all super crazy long, and it's weird. Why do they make them like that? Maybe that's just how they kind of define themselves, make themselves different than all the other Hasbro style figures. But good head sculpt. Love the design. Playability is spectacular. Again, arms go up and down. If this was LJN and you couldn't move the arms, this is why Hasbro has always been my favorite. And even after I fell in love with the LJN figures, LJN is rubber. You can't do anything with that. If this is your pose, that's your pose. You're stuck with it. At least with Hasbro's, and again all of these other companies that have mimicked it, at least you can move these up and down. And I've always said that's all you need to do, is be able to do this right here. And this looks spectacular. Paul Roma from Power and Glory looks absolutely incredible. And kind of looking at the back of the card still. I mean, nothing's really changed on these cards. They're all the same. With these two guys, the first couple I've talked about from the first card, with the bloody Matt Cardona and the Nick Cage. They're really the only ones that I don't have, and again, I ordered them. It has to be at least a year, and I've ordered them several times. So at some point, if or when they ever do come in, I'm gonna have a ton of them. I'm probably gonna have one for my carded collection, one for my loose collection, and then 3 or 4 more that I'm gonna have to try and sell. And I don't know, man. Right. So the last one that we're looking at is Hercules Hernandez. We already know Hercules Hernandez, very synonymous in the wrestling world, in the wrestling figure world. Starting off with your, what was it, Series 3 or Series 4? I'm thinking Series 4. Your 1987 LJN figures, kind of like with the Roman soldier type of look, gladiator look. So, good and bad with this particular figure. The good thing is, this particular pose is one of those type of figures that I've always enjoyed when I was a kid. Hulk Hogan Series 1, one of my all-time favorite figures. The Ultimate Warrior Series 2, one of my all-time favorite figures. In fact, that Series 2 Warrior had been my favorite Warrior figure 95% of my life until I started collecting Hasbros a few years ago. Series 4 British Bulldog, one of my favorite figures. And love the characters, love the figures. Why? And they all had the exact same pose. They had the hands out, right? Arm slamming motion type of deal. Same pose. But as an adult, I'm kind of leaning away from that pose. Yes, now I'm more away from the whole open hand, and I'm more about the closed fist for punching type of deal. So it has its goods and its bads. Yeah, it's something I've always coveted, and I've always been a fan, or simply didn't care about as far as having the open hand. It didn't bother me. But would it be more beneficial as an actual playable wrestling figure with closed fist? Of course. But I can't knock the figure. It looks sharp. And I love the fact that they don't put the shirt on him over here, that they keep the whole chain, which is, very popular with the Hercules character. So that's really awesome. And it's just another awesome tag team to add to your collection of different tag teams out there. So I'm very impressed with this lot of figures today. And a few weeks ago, there was this pre-order for a figure called the Sandman on maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Let's say 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember when. I ordered like 3 of them. And I kind of said it before. You have to order 3 figures. My mindset is, let's say the figure is $40. You buy 3 of them. One of them for your mint on card collection. One of them for you to open for your loose display collection. The third one, once they're no longer being made, it's going to go up in value, right? So the idea is hold on to that and let it build in value, and then one day you could potentially sell that item for $120 and basically not only get your money back on that figure, the $40, but also get your money back on the other 2 figures, and basically it'll be like you never paid anything on any of them. So that's what I'm hoping happens. So I got that. I also got these figures recently. This one is Chris Candido. I've heard the name in passing, and this one, I don't know, I can't even read the name on this guy. Big Bully Bruno, I think that says. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. And it's funny because I ordered both of these guys within the last couple of days. So on sale July 25th, and today is what, the 26th, 27th? Today's date, shoot, today's the 29th, I'm way off. So I ordered these 4 days ago. Yeah, just getting this in on Monday today, and yeah, so today's Monday. This video will be posted on Tuesday. So, these figures were probably already sold out. So this this little advertisement would not have done a new buyer any justice. I'm so blind. It says right here the name, Big Bully Busick. I really like the look of the figures, to be honest. I think they're both sharp. I think I only bought like 2 of each for my own personal displays. The other advertisement, there are a couple on here that kind of irk me. Namely, Tony Norris's Ahmed Johnson character. We already have Tony Norris from Grapplers and Gimmicks. We don't need zombie sailors to make a Tony Norris as well. So I don't like that. I've said it before. All of these companies making Legion of Doom characters, all of these companies making Powers of Pain, all of these companies making Demolition, it is so annoying because you're getting the same characters over and over and over again, and it's frustrating. Now, with certain businesses, like Grapplers and Gimmicks and Zombie Sailors and the Big Rubber guys from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, they actually are in contact and they have contracts with the wrestlers or the family estate of the wrestlers. So the money actually, there is a percentage that goes back to the family. So that's a bonus. And I understand that they can only make the action figures for those that they have a contract with, but still, I as a fan, I want to see continuity, and I don't want to have this continuous recreation of the same characters over and over again. You're basically, and especially a lot of these figures that have different paint variants. Imagine going to this company, spending $40 on one figure for a variant, like Mark Merrow through Grapplers and Gimmicks. $40 on a variant, and then coming back and spending $40 on another variant, and then $40 on a third variant, and then having, let's say, Zombie Sailors comes out and they creates their own Mark Merrow. And it's like, damn. To me, it would just be like looking at it as a fourth variant at that point. So, I don't like that. And Mark Canterbury, Henry Godwin, again, Grapplers and Gimmicks already came out with theirs. I don't like Zombie Sailors creating one of a character that already exists. Yes, I get it, in a different toy line, but it still exists. So, and it's basically, I'm pretty sure it's going to look exactly the same or relatively close to one another. So, kind of looking at this picture of Tony Norris, it's practically identical to the one that we got from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So, I am not pleased about that. So far, what we're getting in the next set, it looks absolutely amazing. Bad News Allen. Of course, Bad News Brown. I'm looking forward to that. The Bloody Ric Flair. I believe that's, I don't know, was that 92, I want to say. I think that's when Macho Man defeated him for the heavyweight championship. So, what was that? WrestleMania 8. So, I'm looking forward to the Macho Man. I'm looking forward to Ric Flair. Bad News Brown. Abdullah Butcher, most definitely. So, those figures look good. And, I don't know. Mr. Hughes, maybe. I remember Mr. Hughes because I was still watching wrestling when he was part of wrestling, but I don't remember like ever gravitating towards him, and I don't remember being a fan or anything. To me, he was just like someone that was there. Like I didn't really care for him, not one bit. So, but the rest of these guys, Public Enemy, don't know who that is. Shane Douglas, again, don't care. Mike Awesome. Yeah, Sandman I already bought. I already bought CM Punk. We bought those months and months ago, pre-orders. So, A lot of this new stuff coming up. This guy right here, Roadkill. This Amish looking guy. Only because he's got the type of beard that I'm trying to grow out. I like that one, but yeah, that is your Series 3 Zombie Sailors Heels and Faces figures. At least the ones that are out right now. Again, there are others that have been pre-ordered, like the CM Punk that we're still waiting on. The Sandman that's been pre-ordered a couple weeks ago. And to me personally, I would prefer that if you're going to come out with the series, if you're going to have like 10 Series 3 figures, I'd rather wait and have all 10 Series 3 figures released at the exact same time than to have them released months and months apart from each other, because it becomes confusing. I'd like to know that, hey, this is Series 3, this is Series 4, and not be confused thinking, hey, I'm on Series 4, when technically, no. You're still in the first, you're still in the third series, because this is just a continuation. But, so far, loving Series 3. Is Series 3 the most important? So far, yeah. I think so far Series 3 is probably my favorite. Series 2 had some bangers. Andre the Giant was killer. Bastion Booger was an absolute must-have. So Jeff Jarrett was definitely a must-have. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of the figure. I didn't like the whole paint-on job that they did. But I think Series 3 overall is killing it so far. So that's it for this video, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get to the wrestling something wrestlers. I am going to stay down here. I'm going to make a video on these guys. I don't have much to say about them because I don't know anything about the characters, but it's more about just showing off the figure. And if you guys are interested, you can check out their website or buy from them off of eBay, which is ever easier on you guys if you're interested. But for now, guys, that closes out this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.